经入场的各位同事及来宾，我们的会议马上就要开始了。为了不影响会议的进行，请您确认您的手机已经调整到震动档或关机状态。多谢合作。已经入场的各位同事及来宾，我们的会议马上就要开始了。为了不影响会议的进行，请您确认您的手机已经调整到震动档或关机状态。多谢合作。
尊敬的各位专家、各位来宾，大家上午好。下面有请中国上海图书馆副馆长何毅先生主持第10届上海国际图书馆论坛开幕式，有请。
尊敬的各位领导、各位专家、各位来宾、女士们、先生们，大家上午好。上海国际图书馆论坛创办于2002年，至今已经成功地举办了9届，走过了近20年。论坛以海纳百川的开放姿态，以激情四射的智慧活力，以卓有成效的交流成果，不仅向世界展示了中国图书馆事业发展的里程和成就，也成为国内外
China has made in library work.
情报学专家学者
We also invited experts in the information industry and the library industry to communicate their ideas to each other. This forum is very influential. Today, we are having the 10th Shanghai International Library Forum under the theme of transformation and disruption, libraries in the new era. We have keynote speeches and a forum. In the keynote session, we invited Mr. Jerome Lettner, Secretary General of IFLA, Rao Quan, Director of National Library of China, Li Donglai, Director of Dongguan Library, and Liu Wei, Deputy Director of Shanghai Library. They share with us hotspot issues, theoretical issues, frontier technologies, and best practices. While the sessions focus on library service and management innovation and the construction of new generation of libraries. We have 8 topics, including the planning for libraries, building of smart libraries, library building innovation, and creation of new spaces. This is related to the trends of library in our world and related to all the hotspot issues in the library field. We have more than 20 representatives and experts from home and abroad making speeches. We look forward to a successful meeting. Next, please allow me to introduce the major leaders and guests attending the opening ceremony. Mr. Gao Yunfei, Deputy Director, Public City Department of CPC Shanghai Municipal Committee. Mr. Lo Wei, Chairman of Shanghai Library. Mr. Wu Jianzhong, University Librarian, University of Macau Library. Mr. Zhang from the Library Buildings and Equipment Section, IFLA. Mr. Liu Weicheng, Chairman of a library. Mr. Huang Tao, Deputy Director of Hubei Library.
中国广东东莞图书馆馆长李东来先生
Mr. Li Donglai, Director General of Dongguan
中国
Library.
上海图书馆副馆长周德明先生
Mr. Zhou Deming, Deputy Director of Shanghai
中
Library.
国上海图书馆副馆长林俊先生
Mr. Lin Jun, Deputy Director of Shanghai Library.
中国上海图书馆副馆长刘伟先生
Mr. Liu Wei, Deputy Director of Shanghai
另外
Library.
呢，今天还有不少专家和这个嘉宾，因为疫情情况
Because of
这个
the
特殊原因
pandemic,
未能莅临我
a
们
lot
的
of
现场。
experts and
但是呢，
experts
他们
couldn't
将
come
通过
to our
不知视
forum
频
in
和
Shanghai,
在线
but I
参
have
会的形
recorded
式
videos
与我们共享
and
盛会。
they will
在
join
此，
our
让我
conference
们
through
对今天
Zoom.
出席的嘉宾和在座的各位，以及通过网络直播参会的业界同仁，表示热烈的欢
Let's
迎和
extend
衷心的
our
感谢。
welcome and sincere thanks to all the guests who are joining us
下面
online
我
and
们有
offline.
请
Next
中国上海图书馆党委书
Let's
记
invite
娄威先生
Mr. Lo Wei,
致欢迎
Chairman
词
of Shanghai Library, to deliver the welcome remarks. Let's welcome.
各位来宾、女士们、先生们、朋
Distinguished
友们，
guests,
大家上午
ladies and
好。
gentlemen and friends, good
上
morning.
海国际图书馆论坛自
Shanghai
2002
International
年
Library
创办以
Forum,
来，
since its
在大家的
inception
共同
in
努力、支持
2002
和协助
and
下，
under your
已经
concerted
成为
efforts
国内
and
外图书
support,
馆界
has become
非常著名
an
的
influential
台论坛
and famous branded
相较以
event
往
in the
今年的
library
第十
sector
届
from
论
home
坛
and abroad.
有其非
The
常
10th
特殊的
forum
意义和
is
特殊的
very
意义
special and
受
meaningful.
全球新冠肺炎疫情的影响，我们首次通过线上线
Because
下
of the
研讨
COVID-19
互动
pandemic, this is the first time for us to combine an online meeting with offline meeting, and it's live streamed on multiple platforms.
在云中相聚。
We
共享
gather with
盛会
you in
在
clouds.
此我代表
Although you
上海
couldn't
图
come
书
to
馆
Shanghai,
向参会
on
的
behalf
各
of
位领
Shanghai
导
Library,
各位图书馆
I
界
would
的
like to
同仁
extend my
向
warm
大力
welcome
支持和
and
协
sincere
助
thanks to
举办
all the
本届论
people
坛的
who
朋友
support
们
library
致以最
work
热烈的欢迎
and
和
people
最
from
衷
all
心的
walks of
感
life
谢。
who have supported us. Thank you so much.
近年来，上海图
In
书馆
recent years,
逐步搭建起了立足
Shanghai
上海
Library
辐射长
has
三
been
角
building
面向全
a
国
framework
链
that
接
is
全
based
球
in
的
Shanghai,
创新平台
radiating
全力
toward
实
the
施
Yangtze
智
River
慧
Delta
包
area
容
and
互联
covering
的
the entire
三岸
nation.
转型
This is
战
a
略
smart
在公共服务
transformation
馆藏
strategy
建设
in terms of public service, library reservoir building, and technology application and talent training. Shanghai Library has made great headway. We have introduced a lot of services and new technologies. By the end of 2019, we have a total of 50 million books, and our digital procurement budget accounting for 45%. We have issued 5.3 million readers card, accounting for 21% of the permanent population. We are developing the new generation integrated library terminals. The 18-year-old Shanghai Window International Communication Platform has covered about 75 countries around the world across 6 continents, covering 175 libraries around the world. When we face the COVID-19 pandemic, although Shanghai Library was temporarily closed, we offered fascinating digital services online. We have posted spectacular results. Despite the COVID-19 physical closure, we turned crisis into opportunities and quickly rolled out online activities, which are really attractive. so we are able to meet the demands of the citizens' need for reading. We have been very well viewed and received by our public citizens. We have clarified our work direction for the next 5 years. By 2021, we will build an Eastern Library in Pudong. The Eastern Library in Pudong will be finished by the end of this year and will be open to the public in early next year. This is a for the people concept implementation. Our library reserve will assume a lot of new characteristics. It will be very professional in offering contents, offering new interface. This will be a world-class library so as to really match Shanghai's ambition to become a world city. The world is faced with unprecedented changes in a century. Library is also facing tremendous challenges. We are facing increasing instabilities. So we need to change the governance of libraries. Therefore, in this very particular forum, the theme is retaining and transformation and disruption in a time of change. Only by constantly innovating can we succeed. So please share us your views and your best practice. Let's discuss. Under the fluid change, how can we scale new heights? And how to exceed yourself so as to achieve spectacular transformation of the library industry. Thank you very much for your sharing. I'm confident that your contribution, your suggestions, ideas will be invaluable to Shanghai Library, and we are more than willing to become the platform for you to share with your explorations into the future and your wisdoms about the future. Thank you very much.
Now, let's welcome Director of the National Library of China, Mr. Rao Quan, to deliver a speech. Due to the other urgent task, Mr. Rao Quan has delivered a video. Now please join us in watching Rao Quan's speech. Mr. Gerard, Mr. Gao, Mr. Chen Chao, personages, ladies and gentlemen, friends, good morning. Today, we celebrate the 10th International Library Forum, online and offline. On behalf of the National Library of China, I'd like to extend to you my heartfelt congratulations and my warmest welcome to all the distinguished guests. There are three keywords: perseverance, transformation, and disruption. Practical and a lot of insightful. And this is really all-inclusive. Present world is undergoing unprecedented changes, especially since the beginning of this year, with the outbreak of COVID-19 adds much to the disruptive time. And all these aspects are facing great challenges, including our libraries. At the same time, the advanced technology featuring the 5th generation and others are developing. The digital economy is thriving. New technologies, new business mode, new formats are thriving. And with the increase of demand for cultural construction
and also other aspects are changed. How to recognize and also take grips with these changes and break through in this scenario and achieve transformation. These are the general concern and the strategic questions. Today, Shanghai Library and also the Shanghai Technology and Scientific Information Institute have invited a lot of experts and practitioners together here discuss their thoughts and practice and insights. And I personally are proud of the opportunity joining these forums. Over the past decades, all the libraries have contributed and are committed to the cause of information sharing and promoting the further development of a human society. Entering the information era, digital technology and broadband technology have provided us more opportunities. With the universally established digital system, we have connected the collections and providing diversified support and services to all our users. More and more libraries have been committed to the concept of finding books for readers and finding readers for the books, and building our libraries into a unique learning space and sharing space, especially since the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, with great challenges. We close our libraries, however, we provide online services catering to all needs of information and contributed a lot to the residents' reading and government's anti-pandemic tasks, and playing a unique role in all these. Presently, we are facing a lot more uncertainties. Libraries should take the initiative to adjust ourselves to all these situations, rethinking our positions and roles, and giving full play to our advantages and promote the innovative development, just as the general vision of the International Library Federation says that we need to build a cluster of libraries. China's libraries are passionate about all these visions. We have established the Chinese Languages Center and also the China Center of Preservation, and also take the initiative to establish the BRICS countries Federation, and also chaired the experts conference and started the China, Japan and Korea programs. Last year, when we celebrate the 100th anniversary, we have organized the seminars and also senior seminar, which marked the 16th. Last year, we have celebrated the 10th International Library Forum, and other forums have highlighted all these hot issues and are well received, not only presenting our milestone and achievement, but also provide an important platform of communicating and sharing. With the far-reaching communication, we also are committed to promote and provide new opportunities for future communication. I also hope that Shanghai in the beautiful autumn will center around the innovation of management of libraries and also other avant-garde issues, building upon which we can further promote the synergy between and among different libraries. In closing, my sincere wish on the complete success of these the 10th Shanghai International Library Forum. Thank you very much, Director Rao. Now, let's welcome Deputy Director of Publicity Department of CPC Shanghai Municipal Committee, China, Mr. Gao Yunfei. Distinguished guests, personages, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Today marks the 10th Shanghai International Library Forum. On behalf of Publicity Department of CPC, Shanghai Municipal Committee, my sincere wish on the success and also my congratulations on the commencement and my sincere welcome to all. Since the establishment of the forum in 2002, the Shanghai International Library Forum has been committed to promoting the dissemination of information, knowledge, and also improve the level of civilization, and has achieved remarkable results. The forum has already become a world-famous international professional academic forum, contributed a lot, and also provided a very good platform and we have the 3-year program, and this forum is an important part of that 3-year program. Perseverance, transformation, and disruption are the theme of this forum, and has 8 sub-themes centering around the service innovation, space building, diversified communication, smart library, and construction. Also, against the backdrop of anti-COVID-19, we have also added the emergency response and management. These are really progressive and also in line with the present situation. We have received more than 110 articles from different countries. We have highlighted the new concepts, insights, technology, and advancement. And we will conduct far-reaching and comprehensive discussion. Library construction is an important symbol of urban life. Many countries have prioritized the library construction. Shanghai, as a super metropolitan, has a great role to play in displaying our strengths. In recent years, Shanghai Library, as a pioneer in public libraries, in collection building, innovation, scientific management, among others, have done a lot of innovative practice and a rich deposit of experience. In the transformation development, Shanghai Library has made a solid step. The Eastern library of Shanghai Library will be completed by the end of this year. I believe that the opening of the eastern wing of this library will further contribute to the construction of civilization. The spirit of all-inclusive of Shanghai will actually enlighten us. I believe that the Shanghai Library and also the Eastern Library will further contribute, and also this forum will yield fruitful results. Your insights and suggestions will facilitate our vision broadening and further development. In closing, my sincere wish on the success of this forum. Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Director Gao. The opening ceremony of the 10th Shanghai International Library Forum has also received a special congratulation letter from Sharon Bostic, Chair of Library Buildings and Equipment Section, IFLA. Now let's welcome the standing member, Zhang Jia, to read out the congratulation letter from Sharon Bostic. Dear colleagues, I am honored to have members of the IFLA Library Buildings and Equipment Section participate in the 10th Shanghai International Library Forum. The Library Buildings and Equipment Section, known as LBES, supports libraries of all types, located in all regions. We work with some of the most innovative and inspiring libraries in the world, featuring many interesting projects, including those which do not cost a lot of money, but create a positive and comfortable space for library services. Our section also collaborates with other IFLA units. For example, our program for IFLA 2021, now virtual, is a collaboration with the Sustainability Special Interest Group. Other recent collaborations include a satellite meeting with the public, academic, and research metropolitan sections. Our programs attract speakers and attendees from across the globe. I am delighted that 5 of our members are presenting at this conference, both in person and recorded. Please enjoy the presentations by Foster Zhang, Dr. Wu Jianzong, Tonia Arasova, Karen Latima, and Philip Kent. I'm sorry that I'm unable to be with you today, but on behalf of the LBES, I wish you an enjoyable and educational experience. Best regards, Sharon Bostic. Ladies and gentlemen, the 10th Shanghai International Library Forum has now opened. That's the end of the opening ceremony. Again, I'd like to thank all the distinguished guests for their opening speeches. Now, let's welcome Deputy Director of Shanghai Library China, Mr. Zhou Deming, to chair the keynote speeches. Now, let's welcome. Distinguished officials, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. The 10th Shanghai International Library Forum, organized by Shanghai Library, with your support, now successfully opened with the theme of the new age of libraries, perseverance, transformation, and disruption. The forum will have 10 keynote speeches from distinguished experts and scholars. Their presentations will give us a better understanding of this theme. The first speaker is the Secretary General of IFLA, Mr. Gerald Leitner. Mr. Leitner is responsible for the strategy and operation direction and fiscal management. In this position, he initiated and also led the global program and also the global dialogue. and also started the vision building. Mr. Leitner has recorded a video with the theme of libraries disrupted or disruptor. Now please enjoy.
Greetings from Vienna, Austria. I'm Gerd Leitner, Secretary of the International Federation of Library Associations and Institutions, or IFLA for short. Our job at IFLA is to provide a space, a structure for all the members of the global library field, a field millions strong, to come together to discuss, debate, exchange, learn, and together create the future, our future. We have been doing this for 93 years already, and I'm proud of all that has been achieved by my predecessors, by everyone who has given their time and effort to IFLA. It's enormous. I'm also proud of our reach, which members in over 150 countries around the world, representing all library types, all career stages, and all the richness and wisdom of our field. Chinese libraries have of course played and continue to play an important role and part in IFLA's success. We cannot be truly global organization drawing on the strengths of all parts of our field without you. We need your energy, your engagement, and your experience. Because there is not a library professional in the world who does not have something to gain and something to give in the context of our work, and you can give us a lot. This role as a catalyst, a facilitator, a hub is, I would argue, as important as ever now. We are in times of challenge and change now, shaped by the spread of COVID-19 and its consequences. But COVID-19 is just the newest force reshaping the way we live, work, and learn. Libraries, just like the communities to serve, are on shifting sands, and not to be able to respond in order to continue to fulfill their mission would be dangerous. We need to be able to respond in order to continue to fulfill our mission. And at a time when our own need for learning and mutual support is high as ever, IFLA too needs to evolve, to transform in order to meet the needs of the community we serve, you. This is why I have been so focused in my mandate as Secretary General in ensuring that IFLA can realize its potential. This all brings me to the subject I want to talk about in my speech here today to you: disruption. I was fascinated to see this highlighted in the title of the conference as a whole. I'm aware that it is a term we often associate more with the tech industry and what it does, or at least what it likes to say it does, to more traditional sectors. The logic of move fast and break things, of finding existing product, businesses, services, and turning them on their heads. No evolution, but revolution. It seems a long way from the stereotype of librarians, perhaps unfairly, of course, because I believe, and will set out later on in my intervention, that libraries are just as capable of doing the same, not just in our own field, but also in the societies around us. I don't think you will be seeing libraries competing with Elon Musk to send things to space anytime soon, of course. But there's a lot of great work going on with programming or robotics. But you won't find libraries developing the first fully served driving car to hit the market. But I think and have seen how libraries can not only respond, but can lead the way towards something deeper, more profound, stronger, fairer, more equitable societies, better able to achieve the sustainable development goals. This is most important for our society. And I think, moreover, that libraries can This so in a way that both respects what has worked in the past while bringing in the services and practices that will shape the future. We face disruption, yes, but we can turn it for the positive, but can turn it by forces for positive disruption ourselves. This is what I want to talk about today. Firstly, looking at the disruption to the work of libraries caused by COVID-19, and then the disruptions we have been experiencing for years, if not decades, in wider society. But then looking at how libraries have not only responded, but have preempted these changes. How faced with disruption, libraries have responded by disrupting themselves for the better. And finally, I want to share a little about the changes taking place within IFLA, how we are working to provide the best support for you at these critical moments. So there's nothing original about underlining the disruption caused by COVID-19 and the necessary measures taken by governments to limit the spread of the virus. Almost everyone has been touched by it in one way or another. Also, of course, this is not been equally felt by all. I, of course, send my condolences to all those who are watching today, and indeed all those in the global library field who have lost friends, colleagues, and loved ones. And I also wish strength to all those who have faced other personal tragedies, the loss of a job or livelihood, the impossibility to be with friends and family, the consequences of anxiety brought on by the pandemic. The pandemic will doubtless leave scars. Our focus must, of course, be on limiting the damage and accelerating the healing process. This will be our focus in the next time. Libraries themselves have, of course, been impacted. IFLA monitored the situation globally, gathering available information about which institutions and library systems were closed and which remained open. At the peak of the pandemic, almost all of the national libraries we could survey were closed to visitors. The same went for public library systems and, of course, for school libraries, which were inevitably closed when at one point 192 countries closed their schools and universities. Of course, it's wrong to say that libraries were necessarily closed. People can benefit from library services in many more ways than simply by walking through the doors. Closed is far too simple a word. Nonetheless, this was a shock, with many countries obliging libraries to close in just a matter of days or even just a weekend, leaving little time for libraries themselves to plan and prepare for a very different way of working. I have heard so many stories of libraries showing their ability to act quickly, ensuring that staff had the equipment and support necessary to continue with the work, and that library users themselves are informed about what is possible or not. This was a significant management challenge in itself, and one that so many libraries successfully took on. Nonetheless, all the success encountered in continuing services should not distract from the inevitable challenges that there have been. Most obvious, as already highlighted, is the possibility to welcome people through the doors of the library. Not just so that people can browse through the shelves looking for their new favorite novel, the key source, the need for the essay or research, or the information that will help them improve their lives and those of people around them. To give access to the special and unique collections that libraries conserve for the benefit for future generations, to allow people to get online, because it remains the case that even in the wealthiest countries, internet access at libraries remains a vital part of the overall offer of connectivity. To organize activities, story times, classes and courses, debates and discussions, study areas,
辩论和讨论，以及图书馆能够提供空间，提供一个社区内受人欢迎的非商业的空间，不管是中小学社区还是居民社区，但是所有这些都不能像以前那样继续下去。图书馆支持所有可持续的发展目标，包括学习、健康和福祉、研究和创新、包容和建立可持续的社区。是对于建立一个坚强、公平、幸福的社会至关重要，也为于未来至关重要。受到限制的不仅是道馆服务，在许多国家对用户的服务也受到限制，因为人们对疫情扩散表示担忧，这是合情合理的。在为养老院、监狱或其他社区提供服务时，病毒的传播会带来灾难性的后果，但是这对图书馆社区也是一种颠覆。对于我们这个专业，有数百万人致力于帮助他人，这的确对我们来说是一个艰难的时期。但这也是一个进行创新、集思广益、探索和实验的时期。我们应该积极应变，改变服务。面对颠覆，图书馆界的回应应该是找到完成我们使命的工具和方法。我们及时利用这些工具和方法。我们看到了数字化项目的重要性，我们推出了新的服务。我们对社区的需求进行反思，努力做出回应，取消罚款，以确保人们不得不没有必要离开家，解除对借阅电子书的个人权限的限制。在图书馆上集中发布关于新冠疫情的可靠信息，在社区中积极培养对于流通信息的了解，组织在线的阅读疗法，帮助人们应对压力，同时呢，提供免下车的疫情检测，同时呢，让人们能够更方便地寄回他们的失业救济金的申请表，同时提供3D 面罩打印，为儿童提供虚拟课外服务。从长远来看，我们应该重新分配电子内容的预算，提供 WiFi 热点，包括在图书馆的停车场提供 WiFi， 使这些 WiFi 能够深入到社区，将电话服务扩展至那些孤独的个人用户，甚至整个城市或国家。每一个行动都表明了图书馆非常重要，不可缺少。即使在这些困难的时期，我们依旧非常重要。与此同时，我们还应该意识到，我们仍旧面临的挑战，包括获取在线内容方面的挑战。太多人无法获得网络，无法从互联网获得信息，包括数字图书馆内容也无法获得。因此，提供数字图书馆是未来几个月、几年里的重要工作。要让所有人都能够使用网络，包括公众能够获取网络。同时也存在法律障碍，缺乏法规来确保图书馆能够继续完成其使命，不管是在线还是离线。因为在为下一次危机做准备时，图书馆必须能够继续工作，这是至关重要的。这不能只是出于人们的善意或是自愿提供的措施，尽管这些措施很受欢迎，我们需要版权法来充分保障图书馆能够继续提供在线服务以及离线服务。
COVID-19 has
的
brought
确，新
disruption,
冠疫
but
情带
libraries,
来
I
了颠
believe,
覆，
have
但
proved
是
themselves up to the
图书馆
task.
再次证明
But
自己能
as
够
mentioned
完成
before,
自己的任务。
COVID-19 is
新
creating
冠疫情
disruption in the middle of
在颠覆
disruption.
中
In
带来了
order
更
to
多的
continue
颠
to
覆。
fulfill our
为
missions
了能
into
够
the long term,
继
we
续
will
完
need
成我们
to
的使
account
命，
for
我们
both.
需要考虑这两
Because
点。
while some aspects of the pandemic, the closure of spaces, the
由于疫情，
restrictions on
空间
movements, the
封闭，
inevitable
活动限
impact on
制
so many
商业
businesses
活
and
动
other
不可
activities
避
are
免受
clearly
到影
new.
响，这
Others
都
are
是新的
more
挑
an
战。
acceleration
但
of
它
existing
则在更
trends.
多方面加
Not
速了
least
现
the
有趋势的发展。我们的经济和生活更快地走向数字化，这对图书馆及其服务的社会提出了挑战。我们互动的方式发生了改变，越来越多的交流在网上进行。我们互动的性质已经从密集型转为广泛型，引发了对社会不公平和关系深度的担忧。与此同时，可获得信息量已经爆炸式增长。我们看到了全世界出现新的声音，挑战文化霸权。我们这个行业是提供信息的，但问题在于，信息是否能被人们所获取？我们该信任哪一个信息来源？我们不能够单纯的认为网上的信息具有中立性。人们每多花1秒钟浏览信息，都意味着时间成本。人们的时间已经成为一种重要的商品，是需要去竞争获取的东西。现在比以往任何时候都更容易追踪人们的行为，去上网查找信息。在社会上，因数字获取和技能，两者趋势都有所上升。那些无法访问和使用互联网的人们，越来越不指望能够找到其他实体的替代。因此，人们对上网的期望值越来越高。人们希望单个门户能够提供全方位的服务，而对于复杂的界面不再有耐心。在许多国家，图书馆依旧受到2008年金融危机的影响，政府要节省开支，或是偿还过去的债务，他们还得继续努力。现在新的金融危机又即将爆发，我相信你能够提出更多的好主意，而面对这一切，图书馆依旧存在。尽管过去人们一直唱衰，我们的图书馆专业应该意识到，图书馆并没有被颠覆到完全消失，并没有切断与公众的联系。我们对颠覆的反应是改变自己，改变处事的方式，充分利用数字资源，提供电子书，并支持电子书在更大范围内的传播，帮助用户使用他们的设备。因为在线供应商的确愿意提供资源的无限的订阅，但人们也比较相信图书馆员的推荐，那种带有个人的感受的人际交流。图书馆不仅能够提供获取知识的空间，还是创造知识的空间、讨论空间以及创业空间。这些都能够让图书馆更加成功。我们的社会和经济最需要就是创造力和创新。认识到图书馆可以作为社区客厅的作用是很重要的。图书馆可以产生联系，提供便利，同时 也因为处于当地，与中小学校和大学有着紧密的联系，亲身体验以及人际互动依旧重要，而且在未来会变得更加重要。图书馆的成功在于加强对最弱势群体的支持，而那些人最容易被落下。我们不能够指望市场在没有利润预期的情况下会提供这些产品。这个世界已经处于不同的阶段，在很大程度上，图书馆本身可以依赖政府、社区、机构和其他部门的支持。图书馆是一项投资，而不是免费的。图书馆提供的服务应该是真正包容、开放、没有偏见的。图书馆应该让人们能够感受独特的文化、教育、研究和获得机会。在这方面有很多先进的例子，开拓者们提出了各种想法和灵感，包括在上海、在中国和全世界。图书馆已经显示出应对创新、利用自身力量、发挥自己价值观和集思广益的能力。图书馆继续不断地服务各种社区，通过信息获取、共享、创新和使用来改善人们的生活。正如我之前所强调的，我相信我们自己也有可能成为颠覆者。没有什么迫使我们落后于发展趋势，我们总是试图赶上塑造社会的趋势和发展。我们要拿出勇气和力量来塑造社会本身，关注重要的问题，展示和提供服务的新方式。我认为在多个领域可以开展这些活动。首先，在互联方面，如上所述，由于数字鸿沟，贫困会越来越贫困。可是我们有重要的使命，去让人们获得网络连接。我们应该把互联网看作是像水电一样基础设施，它不是不可或缺的。图书馆可以成为这个方面的领导者，确保每个人都有机会能够上网，成为自信、有能力的互联网用户，找到他们因为学习获得收入的方法。图书馆可以在发展真正包容性互联网运动方面走在社会的前列。
其次呢，我认为图书馆也可以成为公共服务提供一种新的模式。实际上我们已经在这么做了。图书馆本身呢，当然也通过为所有人提供信息获取而提供公共服务。但是呢，我们不仅仅需要成为直接的提供者，我们也是可以成为宝贵的合作伙伴和平台。图书馆的独特性质是公众熟悉、信任的社区中心集聚地，因此呢，也可以成为开展其他活动的一些宝贵的场所。事实上，很多现代化的这个图书馆呢，都是不同年龄人一站式的这样的一种各种服务的场所，便利大家学习、寻找机会、获取卫生健康信息，还呢可以支持小企业的发展。对于那些可能呢不愿意去找这个医生，或者说是去求职中心的一些比较害羞的人呢，图书馆呢就可以通过合作和提供空间来满足这种需求。当然了，在这其中呢，我们很有可能会发现新的拥护者、支持者，或者说能够巩固和加强支持图书馆的一些人和机构。这一点呢非常重要。最后， 和刚才两者呢都密切相关的呢，就是推动一种发展模式。当然呢，这是符合联合国的可持续发展目标的。而且呢，建立这个目标的理念就是发展呢必须基于个人赋权，确保每个人呢都有实现自己潜力的权利。当然了，这是因为呢，法律和政策呢是取决于用户对他们的了解。广告商啊，多年来都知道这一点。图书馆呢是帮助人们发现可能性的强大的一个方式。但不仅仅呢是关于政府项目的信息，还有呢，人们需要从各种渠道获取各种信息，而且呢，要知道怎么样去利用这种信息，这样呢才能够在生活各方面做出更好的决策。一个新的基于赋权、创新公民以及呢拥有权利和创新的这个社区、社会、国家和全世界的基础。图书馆呢，给了我们提供了很多很多的例子，让我们知道呢，我们其实呢有成功的各种优势。简而言之啊，图书馆可以成为颠覆者、激进的这个变化的促进者。我们有这样的能力，我们来展示这种能力吧。那现在的问题是，国际图联怎么才能帮助促成这一点呢？就像我刚才一开始就说到的，国际图联的使命是提供空间架构，让全球图书馆成员聚集在一起，创造未来。所以呢，我们就此呢可以创造一个这样的项目，一个活动。这个活动呢，不仅支持促进自身的变革，还能够促成整个世界的变革。国际图联呢，我们自身呢，在评估自己的治理架构的时候，就是要确保我们能够履行这一点。我们最好呢能做到，就是说发挥整个图书馆的这个力量，能够有效的、包容的做出决定。我们能够做到，就是说，对于出现的问题做出快速的响应，确保我们能够向成员提供他们所需要的支持他们的宣传，还有一些专业的实践。要做到这一点，我们已经从成员的贡献和洞见中受益匪浅，他们和你们一起已经确定了优先事项，你们帮助我们形成了这样一个日程，让我们呢走得更远。正如我们一起共同制定了国际图联全球愿景和国际图联2019-2024的战略规划，所以呢，我们非常的期待呢，在国际图联大会上分享我们的建议。那我们也鼓励你们多多去访问我们的国际图联的网站3w.ifla.org/governance。那我们一起协力能够实现国际图联的转型。那么我的结论是什么呢？我们确实呢生活在一个非常复杂的时代，新冠疫情再一次颠覆了我们业已被颠覆的世界。图书馆已经证明了，图书馆有能力做出响应、适应变化，继续履行我们的使命。因此呢，尽管各种各样的困难，还有个人的悲剧林林总总，我们从长远来看，我相信我们呢正处在一个关键的时刻。我们希望呢能够成立新模态的一部分，建立一个以包容和赋权为基础的这样的新模式。图书馆不能仅仅是颠覆的受害者，我们自己呢也要能够为了自我改善而成为一个颠覆者。国际图联和你们一起期待，我们一起共同努力。我们祝本次会议圆满成功，非常感谢你们的邀请。
感谢莱特纳先生的精彩报告。正如莱特纳先生所说，我们正处于一个变革的时期，在面对颠覆性挑战的时候，
with a lot of changes. Well, libraries are disrupting and also rebuilding ourselves. During the COVID-19 outbreak, many libraries are closed on site. However, readers can actually benefit more from libraries, as libraries have found new tools and models of delivering its mission. For example, expanding the digital service and also ushering in new service models, which all these have shown that the global libraries are playing their role of not being disrupted, but being disruptors and contributors to the society. Again, let's put our hands together for Mr. Leitner. Now we will have Director of National Library of China, Mr. Rao Chen, to deliver the second keynote speech. Since August 2008, Mr. Rao Chen has sworn in the office of Director of National Library of China and Director of the Ancient Classics Library and Executive of the standards of China. Today, he will talk about fostering development through innovation, creating new prospects in the face of changing circumstances, and opening new chapter for the transformation toward a smart library. Now let's enjoy. Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's a great pleasure for me to join you to talk about the perseverance, transformation, and the disruption on the platform of the 10th Shanghai International Library Forum. Recently, directors of libraries gathered together in Beijing to talk about one of the most important aspects, that is the transformation of libraries. And I have presented the basic thoughts of the transformation, which is very well received. And I also got many constructive ideas. I'd like to take this opportunity to share with you our thoughts in the transformation, also the general content, structure, vision, and the goals of our transformation. I hope that we will further contribute to the transformation of libraries. First, the economic social development has entered into a new stage. Nowadays, the cloud computing, 5th generation, and big data are the new scenario. Smart development have been applied to many fields. Vehicles, among others, shifted from the virtual development to a real smart city, smart country, smart globe are thriving, and it has become a global agenda. In order to take a grip of the new opportunities, the many countries and the regions have done a series of strategic deployment. In the United States, the innovative strategy proposed the smart city and intelligent vision, reducing congestion and fighting against crimes, addressing the climate issues, and improve the service level. Japan, in the 5th plan, and Smart 5.0 version, stressing that against this backdrop, Japan will improve the productivity and high efficient service responding to all needs of the society and yield new business performance. Singapore has also put forward the Smart 2020-2025 scheme, focusing on the connecting all these digital infrastructure with the aim of providing better service and to make Singapore a smart country. China has also emphasized the application in the 13th five-year development plan. It focuses on the establishment of first batch of smart cities with the boost of the government. Now 700 cities are undergoing the construction of a smart city. In the CPC, in the 9th Party Congress, we've also seen the concept of the digital country, military powerful country, among others. And these are our strategic deployment. In May 2020, in the government report, the new information network construction has also been included in the strategic plan. We need to aim at the digital transformation and the smart upgrading, among others. Smart society focus on the sharing of resources and the connecting and opening up of elements, and establish a new system and upgrading the level of all-inclusive and benefiting all development, better saving, catering to the needs of people for a better life. Judging from the plan, we have seen the following features. With the advancement of network China, we will see an integrated development. The mobile network, 5, 6, Wi-Fi 6, and the next generation technology are continuing to evolve. And the public space will be covered by Wi-Fi, and the information network will be shared by people and things. So the smartness is prevalent, and which give rise to the prevalence of connection, data, information, which laid a solid foundation for a smart society. Secondly, the publicization of these technology or the image, and also the artificial intelligence development have surpassed the divide, a digital divide. The classification of image and the human-machine conversation, among others, have greatly improved and has ushered in a explosive development. And this has been well received. Singapore has put forward the artificial intelligence plan, integrating artificial intelligence, virtual media, among other technologies. The UK has also put forward the AI and infrastructure construction. In 2017, the Chinese government has put forward the plan of AI and also the 3-year action plan referring to ideas of the integrated application of AI. Thirdly, the outstanding values. Over the past several years, with the thriving of AI, the integrated development has been prioritized. In 2019, the added value took 36.2%. 2012, the State Council has put forward the opinions on the configuration of elements, focusing on the future reform and also cultivating the digital element. In the future, data has the exponential role in the future and will boost the new business mode and the new industry. Providing more efficient and smart public service is an important element. As an indispensable public cultural service, Shanghai Library is also standing in a new critical point. Next, I'd like to talk about the window stage of Shanghai Library development. Since the 1990s, China's libraries have taken the opportunity of digitization and network development in timely way promote the development and have bridged a standardized and universal library digital service network in the development of hardware and software and resource sharing and standardized service system construction. Libraries have accumulated a lot of experience and fulfilled the transformative development. Taking public libraries as an example, for the time being, many provincial and city libraries have offered universal Wi-Fi coverage, 24-hour service, so readers can borrow literature and attending virtual lectures, and even in the metro, readers can read digital books. By the end of 2019, libraries have offered more than 50 million computers and 18 billion pages online. And as of now, China's digital library has established 400 sub-libraries. More and more libraries are making use of their WeChat public account, other mobile apps to offer the services and the resources to the mobile terminal and increase their influence.
On April 23rd, World Reading Day, we work with 100 libraries across China to have an advocacy campaign on live streaming platforms. We invited readers to share their stories of reading. During the campaign, we issued 167,000 short videos, and it was broadcast for 2.1 billion times. The technologies are more intelligent. We are unleashing the potential of digital technologies. Libraries are becoming an engine of digital transformation. The organization of a library needs to adapt to new changes. We need to extend to the Internet of Things. We need to trace the status quo of physical objects and provide important data services for individual learning. All the carriers of information in library need to be connected, and one library needs to connect with another. And the libraries need to connect their resources with the society. Everything needs to be connected. The Internet resources are becoming more structured or more non-structured. With the advent of information technology, people are calling for big data mining. With acceleration speed, people have higher demand for agility of information provided. Libraries provide structured organization of information and human-assisted information service. So we cannot meet the requirements of the current information technology. We need to participate in the construction of a new knowledge service ecology. China is faced with an unprecedented opportunity to surpass some other advanced countries in terms of information technology as a latecomer. Our online literature, music, video, and live streaming users reached 3.2 billion. We support joint creation and sharing. We are able to meet extensive needs from society. We have become a third-party provider of information and services. In terms of digital publishing, online literature creation, and operation of online knowledge, we have seen a very mature industry chain taking shape. Library is an intermediary of information, but the advent of new information industry has posed new challenges. We have participated in the construction of a new ecology. We also need to build more valuable space. As information technology used widely in everyday life, people need to live in a smart environment. When they do research, conduct innovation in the library, they need socialized services. They need to be connected to society. That means libraries need to transform their physical spaces. We need to have interactions between online and offline, virtual with reality, and exchange information as much as possible, provide immersive reading environment, and also rebroadcasting of information. We need to avail digital technologies to enhance our management of our environment so as to provide an interactive space for readers so that readers would love to come back. In recent years, China's government focused on integration of culture industry with technology industry. Therefore, library is facing a new opportunity. In 2019, 6 ministries of China issued the guiding opinion on deepening the integration of culture with technologies using artificial intelligence, cloud technology, to transform the culture industry throughout its industry chain. This May, China introduced the circular of building a big data cultural system, and it is defined as a basic infrastructural project in a new era for China. We need to break down the hurdles in the integration of cultures with technologies. We need to make sure that digitized cultural contents can go online and be disseminated widely. Faced with historic opportunities, libraries from home and abroad have made great breakthrough in smart management, smart service, etc. In terms of automatic classification of literature books, simulated experience, artificial intelligence technology has been used widely. AI has enhanced our efficiency of service, enhanced the online and offline reading experience. The UK National Library, Chicago University Library, Japanese libraries, and Chinese libraries established a three-dimensional library system using a robot to automatically classify the books. They implement end-to-end smart management. They can process up to 10,000 books a day. Nanjing University developed an auditing robot and visualization technology. They can actually provide very good auditing of books. The efficiency can be as high as 20,000 books in an hour with very low error rate. A US library and a Canadian university library and Shanghai library already introduced the interactive robots. They can have functions like facial recognition, information explanation, information searching, so as to provide very humanized reading support service. Some of the libraries are working with the society so as to provide solution for the implementation of technologies. Libraries are working with companies to introduce 5G-based hologram so that they can show their most valuable collection to the public through the hologram technology and immersive reading experience. Jiangxi Library worked with a high-tech firm to build a smart reading space. Using facial recognition technology, they can push interesting literature sources to those readers using big data. Shanghai Library Industry Association worked with high-tech firms to introduce the third-generation digital library open service platform so as to accelerate the building of the ecological system of digital libraries. This new format has been our answer to the historical opportunities and challenges we are facing in our lifetime. Thanks to the pioneers, we are able to embrace smart transformation. We have laid down a solid foundation in this digitization transformation. Next, let's talk about our vision for a new library. China National Library, as the information center, championed several important projects like a digitization library. We guide the development from traditional libraries to digital libraries. We have introduced the idea of building a nationwide smart library system. We shoulder our industry responsibilities in a proactive way. With our leadership, China's libraries will transform into digitalized library ecospace. Next, let me share with you our strategies for the project. Our positioning. With more studies in smart libraries in recent years, we understand that smart libraries is not only a new form of technology, but a future-oriented concept for library development. It requires libraries to use smart technologies to enhance service efficiency and management, facilitate the public's access of information. Moreover, it emphasizes that libraries should meet people's humanistic demand for information. The core technologies are using 5G, blockchain, or cloud computing technologies so as to store and process collection information. Using technologies so that users can be put at the center. Smart libraries should assume the following characteristics. First, a whole life cycle smart management of libraries. The whole process of the library will be reorganized. An end-to-end file management system will be put in place. Librarians will be liberated from their traditional, very detailed work. They will provide more smart work and service. We also support whole network three-dimensional integration. It will transform industry boundaries. We are able to capture primary resources, scientific resources, individual creative resources across the whole network. We also introduce integration management service so as to introduce a pan-network information system. Thirdly, we need to have a knowledge-oriented support system. We will focus on knowledge creation and consumption. The PAN system will be connected by multiple sources. Libraries should play a comprehensive role in supporting various walks of life. Support offline interactions. Combine modern technology application with human-centered services. Capture behavioral data to improve and match the physical space and workflows. Tailor-make individualized solutions. Provide users with very convenient and tailor-made services. Use augmented reality, virtual reality, and high-definition video to deepen our services so that readers can really feel what's in the book. They will enjoy an all-surrounded reading environment. We would like to avail the advantages and achievements we have made in the library sector. Use the very mature industry coordination model. Use these integrated models in collecting information. With the government budget assurance, we will leverage more social investment, private investment, so as to channel the money into developing our brands and developing more robust resources, jointly create the next generation smart library system and our homegrown smart library management system. We will support an all-rounded upgrade of our services and management, covering knowledge, storage, discovery, creation, and production, infrastructure, and also support a nationwide knowledge infrastructure, service libraries at all levels, avail the existing smart library spaces that already exist, mine data, and also connect the library service with multimedia services. The overall structure of the project can be summarized 1 + 3 + n. 1 means it's a cloud-based smart library. 3 means it is an integrated storage system, nationwide smart library management, and all-terrain knowledge operation system. It can be accessed by various library points at the local level across all tiers. The cloud library is the cloud-based architecture. It is a combination of private cloud with public cloud. Public cloud service the public and research institutes, while private cloud service enterprises and key projects. The nationwide smart library system will be based on the cloud system. It is a highly integrated system. With the one integrated cloud system, local libraries does not have to build the system of their own. Using artificial intelligence, machine learning, to build the Cloud Knowledge Production Center, open APIs to support one-stop service for knowledge production, sharing data, conduct effective monitoring, enhance our support for knowledge management, absorb other different players into knowledge service sector. We try to cover all the knowledge service with our pan-cloud system. Automatically extract knowledge structure based on users' needs. Through data collision, realize automated connection and regulation. Establish a pan-network topology of knowledge. This integrated cloud-based library will actually assume a top-level design and coordinated development.
To realize the online-offline whole process smart management of the library. On the one hand, based on the microservice system structure, it can flexibly connect the development and supporting the in-depth mining and systematic use, so as to cater to different customized needs. On the other hand, building upon the Internet of Things, promote the smart terminals, online, offline, smart activities to be connected smartly. Libraries of all levels and also the donated literature management and to connect libraries with libraries, libraries with a reader, and everything. The smart knowledge operation aims at mutual beneficial sharing, the dissemination, usage, among others, and also support libraries and also the third-party platforms, benefiting different roles of knowledge users and user profile, copyright operation, among others, and provide residents, legal person, and other institutes to provide all process service. Smart library space is also an important part. By through the different spots and also transformation, it can actually support the upgrading of the book inventory and upgrading. There will be smart clerk and smart question and answer, smart logistics, so as to make a smart logistics, especially in suburbs and also universities. Books will be circulated easily. The program will promote the management and also the smart terminals connection, online and offline service connection, and customized sharing, learning, and coordinating space, and provide VR, AR, among other immersive service. In order to guarantee the scientific development of the smart libraries, the project will build 3 supporting systems. First, the evaluation system. As to the space and facilities, there will be dynamic evaluation and monitoring. As to the performance, there will be scientific and dynamic evaluation. For the upgrading, renewing, and financial support, there will be smart support. As to the standardization, construction, we will establish a completed standard system contributing to the construction of all these. The third part is library research and talent cultivation. To establish the research institute centering around service application and standardization, we will research the smart operation environment and construction. At the same time, cultivate the clerks, communication, and assistant, think tank expert, IP expert, information analysis expert, among others, thereby providing sustainable support. The above-mentioned programs, including the development of smart library, will be implemented by National Library of China, and libraries at all levels will be responsible for the local libraries and the connection, and in line with the specific need as to their own facilities and space. Local library will do renovation and development. So the libraries on the cloud will cater to the needs of all people. And on these, we try to cater to the localized needs. Other content provider, platform operator can also be connected or accessed, providing service. With the upgrading of information technology, people's imagination are endless, and the digital transformation of libraries are evolving. So we think that the national libraries will complete the primary framework construction in the smart management and operation. We will aim to provide all readers and guarantee the overall improvement. So basically, with the construction of this program, we will establish a new innovative business and extend the coverage, recognize our culture, and support lifelong learning, and promote the development of each and every resident and the overall improvement of science and technological development level with proprietary knowledge and knowledge system. We aim to provide more reliable knowledge system. And the innovative development will be built upon a guarantee and the technological development. With this project and taking a top-down method, we aim to help the incubation of cultural industry. So the cultural supply and the demand side be balanced, and especially provide the Chinese knowledge and promote the production, generation, and usage of knowledge, and speed up the one-stop sharing environment of knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, upon the coming of the 14th five-year development plan, and especially that is the first 5 years of our new development stage, which is full of new challenges and opportunities. Well, challenges will also embody opportunities. Let's join hands, develop further in these uncertainties, and contribute to the better development of our libraries and provide high quality and more convenient knowledge service. Thank you. Thank you, Rong Chen, Director. Director Rao thinks that the society is already standing in the stage of smart society. And in the beginning period of the smart stage, we have provided new solutions. What is worthy of noting, Director Rao has explained to us the basic thought, content structure, goals, and vision in 1+3+3, and with an aim of promoting the transformation of libraries with new thoughts and insights. Again, thank you, Director Rao. Now we will welcome Director of Dongguan Library, Guangdong, Mr. Li Donglai. Mr. Li is also director of Library and Reading Promotion Association and the vice director, and he will talk about the influence of time on the development of a library. It's a great pleasure for me to come to the Shanghai Library to attend this international forum. Well, this is the first in-person and live presentation. Since the beginning of the 21st century, we have seen the synchronic development of a library. What is outstanding is the construction of new libraries, which are thriving and are better and better. More than that, the space renovation took place one after another. And this forum has a specific sub-forum chaired by Zhang Jia, focusing on construction and the space. So from the perspective of time and the space, they target at a specific relation. Well, we are in the same time and the space, however, with a different frame and the field. So from another perspective, we may have a better understanding of a library. So I'd like to present the following 4 aspects. First, the mutual thinking between space and time, contemporary thinking about time, and professional thinking about time, and a practical case of time. So space, as I mentioned, in the new era, there are many typical times. The National Library of China has also opened a new one. And I'd like to give you an example of more than 100,000 square meters. For example, the capital one, the Hubei, and also the Guangzhou Library and the Liaoning Provincial Library. These libraries cover a land of more than 100,000. They are super big. So with a huge space, you need to put on accordingly good show. So not only provincial and the city libraries, last year, a Dalingshan town has opened a new library covering a land of 40,000 square meters. So it faces the challenge of stuffing the huge space with content. This is Foshan Library has been awarded the best green library, and the Taiyuan Library can actually hold a concert. And the Suzhou, the second library, which is near here, features a huge smart inventory, and the Shenzhen Bao'an Library has applied robots to circulate books. These are brand new. On the other hand, the space model, the Tianjin Binhai Library focuses on design, which attracts a lot of people to take a selfie there. Also, Shanghai Library has also put on new designs. For example, the Huanan Normal University has renovated its space. And this is the Shenyang Normal University library. The Shandong library has connected with the lecture house. Over the past 10 years, the system of a library has really renovated, and this is a huge change. And this is a Hefei's library. Changzhou Yushu Fang is a kind of a book pub. And this is Luohu Shenzhen's You library, featuring wonderful design, featuring small and novel, and which is very close to the community. Last month, Dongguan Chashan has offered a Yue Shu Ba, literally meaning the book pub. Well, with that said, I'd like to say that I've also presented about the construction of a new library featuring a lot of design and also new function and getting close to reader. So judging from the names of this library, for example, the third space and the huge studio, among others, which demonstrated the passion for library construction. And then about time, our description about the time, that's the first one-dimensional description. However, we haven't touched upon or learned the other natures of time. For example, length, cycle, unit, among others. So I think a new perspective from time is really worthwhile. So take the example of a long length of time. The change of public libraries are shown here, fall into three categories. First, accumulative, in terms of coverage or area, represented by blue, and then investment by green, and the third category is service. So let's take a look. The red line is positively related with investment. However, is it infinite? The development of a library should have a ceiling. You cannot actually consume infinitely the social resource. So that's a tax. That's a test on the intelligence of a library. We know space is external and time is internal. So we need to move with the time. So we need to take these two into consideration at the same time. Many new libraries are becoming a landmark of the local area. So what kind of show should we put in the library? And the librarian as the actors, how can we put on the show?
We need to coordinate. Augustine said, "What is time? If no one asks me, I know what is it." If I wish to explain it to him, who asks me, I do not know. You don't know what is time. And explaining time here made me very nervous. But changes happen very quickly. People create time, but people are enslaved by time. We have to follow the changes. We have to catch up with changes. We are left behind by time. Because of the quickly moving of time, we became very nervous. Stiglitz, Nobel Prize for Economics, mentioned that two important themes for the 21st century: the urbanization of Chinese cities and the high-tech development of the United States. Urbanization has brought about a lot of problems. Every city suffers from congestion of traffic. We also have problems with housing, environment. Because of technology, we actually have fallen victim to technology. The moment we wake up, the first thing we do is to look at our mobile phone. Librarians are very anxious. There's a book talking about our anxieties in 6 aspects. That means our industry has a severe lack of direction. Technologies made humans superficial. We have a dull mind. With technology, we tend to think less. We have less and less reflection. But we have every reason to be anxious. It's healthy to be anxious. Because of anxiety, we find common ground. We convene here. I think the theme of the forum is created by anxiety because the leader is very anxious about the future. They decided to convene a meeting. Because we are anxious, we think about problems. Anxiety is the result of human evolution, so that we can adapt to environment and change environment. People have different feelings about time. There are all sorts of reasons leading to anxiety. But we also have a sense of history. I believe libraries have an advantage in reviewing history. When everything changes quickly, everything becomes fragmented. As libraries have a holistic understanding of human destiny, we enjoy a unique position in human society. Talking about our understanding of time, this year marks the centenary anniversary of China's library education. The library major established by Wenhua Wuchang was the first library discipline of its own. We are proud to say that China's library has 100 years of development. These are the 5 principles. For library, books are for use. The remaining 4 principles are related to time. The 4th principle is aimed at save the time for the reader. And the 5th principle, a library is a growing organism. Growing is actually a process of time. So these 2 are related to time. The book 2, principle 2, every reader, his or her book, are for all. And every book is reader. So when the book is looking for a reader, look is related to time. And a librarian's proficiency lies in finding the right reader for a book. In terms of implementation of library science, I think 3 sentences from John Dewey are related to us. The first guy is John Dewey, an American philosophist. 100 years ago, he actually spent 2 years in China during the May 4th movement. His ideas influenced a number of Chinese scholars, including Hu Shi. Library was under the influence of John Dewey. The second Dewey is Mauvie Dewey, and his professionalism is still significant today. He introduced the Dewey Decimal Classification, DDC. He established library schools and library journals. 150 years later, his legacy is still active and relevant. Spencer wrote a book, The Cat Dewey. The Dongguan Library once studied this book. They had a heated discussion. The cat Dewey is the representative of the emotional attachment to library. He changed the status quo of library. It's a real book, a fake book. We don't have to worry about that. But it reflects something relevant in our society, because we know that all librarians love about human interaction, and the cat inspires human interaction. If we only talk about human interaction, if we are too lazy, maybe the cat serves as a savior. The third Dewey his name is not Dewey. Du Dingyu sounds like Dewey. His library theory has left a strong influence. If you visit Sun Yat-sen Library in Guangdong Province, there is a special room reserved for Du Dingyu. In that room, you will find the bookshelf and book table was created by himself. He kept a whole collection of literature about China's war against Japanese aggression. He also introduced the 3 important elements about library. There are other people who introduced 2 important or 3 important elements about library. But today, let's talk about a time-related 3 dimensions. And these are the contents we are dealing with. In the past, we mainly dealt with books, but now we deal with literature, knowledge, information, data, and carriers. How about contribution? We have to make contribution. We have to think about that. How large is our contribution? I just discussed that with Liu Wei. We need to think about what contribution we make, and then we need to think about the library major. Mr. Du mainly talk about library management. Is our current library discipline able to meet the demand of the new era? Do we have enough professionalism to cope with the current demand? Readers are literate. We have a lot more readers. They have a lot more demands and requirements. But there are more people who don't have to come to the library. How well can we change the three dimensions? It's difficult to change readers. We have to adapt to the reader's needs. But it's difficult for us to transform reader. We can change books. We can orderly arrange books. But we definitely need to change the library discipline. You have to change yourself. You need to enhance your professionalism. It is accumulation of time. You have to understand about library. You have to understand the whole library industry from the discipline itself. Mr. Cui Guanghua, Director General of Suzhou Library, did not study library as a college major, but his research about library shows his passion and love for library. He's a very professional librarian. With more diversification of discipline, there are more and more areas for study. Mr. Yao talked about a lot more areas for study. Number 4, in terms of understanding about time, let me give you 3 examples. First, serve time. In 2005, when the Dongguan Library was opened, we introduced the first humanless library. That means it's a library that without a librarian. Nobody was watching in the library. It reflects a lot of different concepts. The 24-hour non-stop library shows we are reader-centered library. We focus on reader segmentation. We focus on high efficiency because not all library was open. Only a part of the library served as a sleepless night. Five years later, in 2011, 32 counties and street corners across Dongguan City introduced the 24 library concept as one of the people's livelihood enhancement projects. The 24-hour non-stop library opened up a new area for library. Now, for all the newly built libraries, 24 non-stop library is a component. Inside residential areas, there are some cabin library that offer 24-hour service. That has become a hallmark of new type of service provided by library. we need to enhance efficiency hourly. Our management model assumes national standards and international standards. It must be reader-centered, process management focused, focus on KPI and enhancement. Singapore Library has encompassed 4 areas of quality management. In 2012, Dongguan Library was inspected by the Dongguan government for its quality. We would like to evaluate our quality. In terms of time unit, we are designing the 14th five-year plan. We have an 8-year forward-looking plan, and every year we have a theme. This year, our theme is self-discipline and regulation. That means every unit should strike its target, and the yearly target is disintegrated into monthly targets. And monthly, people are governed by their monthly KPIs. Time-related KPIs. A lot of KPIs need to be implemented. We're not just running KPIs. That's not enough. With this management model, with the hourly output, now we are able to deepen and detailize the library work. Every month, we have the monthly KPI analysis meeting. We have the KPI management groups conducting various leadership and guidance work. We focus on the regulation of hourly service. In 1974, the library standards were introduced. In 1998, the library KPI framework was introduced. And in 2014, the library evaluation method and process were introduced. The three milestones. For the 3 standards, we correspond then to industrial and national standards. They serve as important basis to improve our management, and they are the common standards for the whole industry. So we have to focus on the hourly output. The third example, during the COVID pandemic, we captured readers' feedback when Wu Gui-chun handled his withdrawal service. He left some remarks, feedback. He left a 131 feedback at our reception desk in his 50 minutes there. He have spent 12 years in our Dongguan Library. Actually, he went to a K-12 school. He said that I will never forget Dongguan Library for the rest of my life. So that was how he was there, writing down his remarks in his last, or so-called last 50 minutes in the library.
So, Wang Yanjun, as an example, she talked to the reader, saying that since you are so passionate, why not leave us a note? So this is the also enthusiasm and also qualifications. She approached the reader with the aim of receiving some constructive ideas. And then upon reading this note, another librarian took a picture of the notes and also sent it to the work group in the library, as she was so touched. And then that kind of feeling spread to other librarians. And then she replied to that, saying that, well, your words will actually moved us. And then she said something even more far-reaching, saying that upon leaving, Dongguan is actually working hard to make itself better. So we are waiting for you to return. And then Yingjing is responsible for running the public account, saying that we are waiting for you. This example shows the professionalism of librarians, and we are very proud of that. At the noon of 24th, we have received a lot of phone calls, and Human Resources Department has also tried to help him. And within 48 hours, we tried to secure another job of this reader. And then this story was even carried by the CCTV program showing the role of a library to the society. And then within a week, there are 35 microblog topics receiving more than 1 billion clicks, and also making Dongguan on the spotlight, in the spotlight. Well, more than that, in 2005, there was another reader's note. So you can compare. It says that the library serves as a harbor. Everybody can take shelter here. Library opens to all without formalities, and it is all inclusive. So I think that other public facilities like a library would like that. So this is the people's demand. Today I'm talking about time. 15 years ago, the feeling of readers was like that. So the first impression is always a space. So with a lapse of 15 years, the two readers' notes changed. Wu Guichun said that the best place is a library. So the space is good. Because he actually spent 12 years in the library, showing both time and space. And Wang Yanchun, the first library, who worked at the library for 16 years, with a background of computing and also professional librarian. So I think this is a professionalism. The qualifications on the librarian. Many colleagues said that there are opportunities, there are something definitely. So this demonstrated the evolution of libraries in professionalism. So the three cases focus on service time, all hour development. In 2005, we offered 24-hour, and there was the 24-hour bookstore. And then wrote to Li Keqiang, which created a sensation. Well, nowadays, many places offer 24-hour library. And then the unit time, focusing on the optimization of a performance, and then the length of time. I think time is the basic nature of a library, and which can play more unique role. As you know, Borges once said, the heaven should look like a library. However, Borges said another line. I think this is more in line with today's theme. Well, it is not so respectful to mention time and space at the same time, because sometimes we can actually disregard space rather than time. So to learn the library from the dimension of time is meaningful. Time and the space need to be talked of at the same time. 8 libraries celebrated the 100th anniversary. So China's library has actually been developing for more than 100 years. It's very unique. To pass on or carry on civilization is really a matter of time. And then after time, after space, time will become the core element of libraries. That's it for my presentation. Thank you for the wonderful presentation from Li. Through the showing of the slides, we have seen clearly the changes of libraries, being big, novel, unique, and also professional. With that, we have seen the change of the parameter of libraries. And also, we have also been amazed at the achievements of libraries, and particularly the example of a Dongguan library. And we have actually been guided through the concepts of time and space. Thank you. Last but not least, now let's welcome Deputy Director of Shanghai Library, Liu Wei. Mr. Liu Wei is also an adjunct professor of 3 universities and also Deputy Director of Information Management. He will present on the future of library is smart. Now let's welcome. Thank you. I won't actually hold you long before lunch. Hello. The biannual Shanghai International Library Forum, and each time there will be a director introducing to the forum the development of a Shanghai Library. So here, on behalf of Mr. Chen, who is now studying at the Party School, I'd like to present to you the development of Shanghai Library. After Mr. Rao Chen's presentation, I think that, well, the future of library is smart, needless to say. We have actually reached a new level of understanding. Then what should we do? So on behalf of Shanghai Library, I'd like to present to you the effort of establishing a new library by taking this opportunity, and also after several 5-year development, we finally implemented the plan. And with that, we've got some insights, and we'd like to present to you a smart library. So what is a smart library? So we want to explore that. When looking back in 2 years' time, when I got the opportunity to share with you, I think that there will be insights. Just like the renovation of our home, there will be some pities. So with that, I hope that in 2 years' time, I won't be very needing or wanting for improvement. So for any weakness, I think I will be responsible for that. So we are now doing 14th 5-year development, and many libraries are building new libraries. So when we think about the future, nobody can compete Ye Yonglie, who 50 years ago has done wonderful imaginations. And actually 60% or 70% of his imagination have been realized. So before we look into the future, we need to take stock of the history. The previous two presenters mentioned that China's libraries have witnessed rapid development. I'd like to quote Professor Chen Huanwen in a published article saying that China's library has entered into a golden era. Director Rao, in an article published in January, some figures which have been frequently quoted, cited. So these are the evidence of China's public libraries entering into the golden era. Well, with very weak foundation, we have seen the achievement, and that is why rapid development. However, taking per capita data, it will be not balanced. Also, the cyclical declining of the economy, international situation, and the COVID-19 outbreak, we should develop a new understanding. So there is still the window period. Especially the COVID-19 outbreak has actually halted many of our development. Well, the SELF has two themes. First, the post-COVID-19 development, and secondly, smart library, which are very brand new and catching. The Secretary General of IFLA also talked about our position of the victim of a disruption to disruptors. So against this backdrop, many literature have been addressing our response. More than 50 articles are talking about this. There are 3 stages. And now this has become the new normal. We have seen the perpetual influence of COVID-19. We cannot go back to the past. Globally, we are reflecting upon the impact on our industry. A general consensus is if we can take the opportunity of digital transformation, we will succeed. 2 artists of Tsinghua University have done this picture. Globally, the COVID-19 hasn't been curbed. On the left-hand side, the streamlined line represents China. So it's by no means easy for us to get together here. And China is now entering into a recovery stage. So the basic understanding now is the crisis does not represent a pause. Rather, it's an accelerator. And different industries all share the same idea. There will be opportunities and risks, however, with different features and different new normals. And libraries are now transforming from traditional libraries to modern libraries. It's already past the midway and cannot go back. However, there are more uncertainties in terms of the future. Then how to deal with that? It asks for more resilience and flexibility. And previously, many of the improvements are for our business, and now we should focus on the ability to respond to crisis. And this is the trend analysis report. Judging from the society, technology, education, environment, politics, economy, and population, there are 42 elements in terms of a trend. And this was done by the end of last year without the influence or consideration of the COVID-19. This is a very good way of analysis.
And I will explain from 7 aspects. Some of the items are more relevant to us. Some have been implemented by us. After the pandemic, of course, those dimensions will be subject to certain changes. Some of the changes are brought about by the smart society. And these important changes need to be embraced by the 14th Five-Year Plan. Now let's talk about the third generation library. And this was raised by our Director General Wu Jianzhong. I think his words are still relevant today. This picture was taken in 1904. The library was the Hubei Provincial Library established by Zhang Zhidong. At the time, this building didn't exist. That building was built in the 1930s or 40s. It represented the first generation library. It has the function of a public library. And you can see that the first generation library rarely upholds the concept of free of charge and equality. The first generation of library lasted for a century. In the 1990s, we began to enter into a transitional period. The second picture we see is the Seattle Library, opened in 2002. It's the second generation. It is a very large space. You can see through all the space. Now we enter into a third transitional phase. We are in the 21st century, so the world did not enter into the second generation library until the advent of the 21st century. Our library is not entirely second generation because we don't have very large one space. When we started to build, the second generation library format has not been well recognized. And now you can see the new libraries, the shelves are in the reading room. Director Wu Jianzhong gave a wonderful summary. We are still in a transition between phase 2 to phase 3. The third generation we are building are actually a trial project. We are implementing a pilot program. The third generation library has strong characteristics, but some other characteristics is a legacy of the first two. The Suzhou No. 2 library is an automatic inventory operating system. The shelf is mounted to the wall, but they make sure the books can be circulated efficiently. They use a spiral upward ladder, but it is a themed library. The Suzhou library boasts a large number of themed libraries. They offer a large number of smart services. So we are building this new library according to this new philosophy. Now, about my understanding of smart library. I think the industry has formulated a consensus for smart library, and we are building it. I hope Shanghai Library will take the lead in building smart library and offering our peers some precious experiences. It is a higher level of digital library. I don't think smart library will replace digital library because it still uses computer technology. Now we have entered into the age of AI. We have A, B, C, D. A is artificial, B, blockchain, C, cloud, and D, big data. And E is enhancement, enhanced reality, or virtual reality and augmented reality. The digital twin we're talking about is a latest application of digital technology. It has been comprehensively used in library so that library can better fulfill its functions. Those that can provide smart services are smart libraries. And we can see the third generation encompasses the services provided by the first two generations. The first generation lasted for a century. People are so tired of the old model of book borrowing. When you borrow it out, you have to return it. But now we offer smart services. But it has not been well recognized by the society. So we need to accelerate our transformation pace to make sure that, yes, libraries are offering knowledge-based services. What is smart service? What is smart library? Let me give you a qualitative description using Turing testing. When a service is provided by a machine or by a person, they are equally welcomed by user, then you would consider the machine providing service a smart service. If users prefer a machine offered service and users don't really care who offers the service, then it's the triumph of smart service or machine service. Smart library is a very comprehensive and complete system. Our understanding of library is not systematic enough, so we need to improve the system. A smart library includes smart spaces, business spaces. Businesses need to be performed by librarians, like drafting the categorizations, making the whole service system going smart. If we should allocate the whole structure layer by layer, we should gain a deeper understanding of the whole picture. This is a two-dimensional picture, which includes management intelligence and service intelligence. As we are carrying out a survey commissioned by the National Library for the application of smart information technology, so we take stock of that technology as what roles do smart technologies play in the library. So this is the application matrix of new technologies of a library. We need to list all targets. So business smartness is a prerequisite. We must be service-oriented. We have to be user-centered. Therefore, we use scenarios to test if our current settings can meet readers' requirement or not. We found that we need multiple information systems to work together to fulfill users' need. So we need to have a different overarching design. No single product or technology can handle all the problems. So it is essentially a question of design. So this is actually a touchless borrowing. When a reader comes in, they read a lot of books. Their behaviors can be captured by a machine. Readers may have their privacy, but his or her information can be well captured by machine. And his environment is an Internet of Things environment, is well connected. Every journal, every book, the location of the books, the seat taken by the reader, the behavior of the reader are well tracked. How did the reader come in? Facial recognition. How many books they borrowed? Did they successfully obtain those books? When should they return? So this touchless borrowing is inspired by automatic supermarkets. We studied the scenarios where a robot welcomes guests into a supermarket. We studied what kind of interactions we need. This is a gigantic project. In the past 2 years, we have done a lot of studies in this area. And then we proposed 10 major application scenarios. And they need a lot of support. We need the entire library society to unite with one another. Huawei introduced a white paper about 5G application. But libraries likewise need to know what are our application scenarios. It's just like figuring out these scenarios for logistics. The reason we have standardized service is because we have standardized the process for service. We need to fixate the system, and then you add in tailor-made features, but you need to define the underlying flow of standardized services. Just as Mr. Rao mentioned, the National Library project includes a construction for standards. Standards can be loose, it can be white paper, or best practice. They can serve as reference. Then you can always find your target based on your needs. You need to have access mechanism, defining that what kind of software that can meet our white paper defined demands, and then these suppliers can be used by the National Library. This standard codification is very comprehensive. I use different colors to show those codifications related to the library sector. It is not a comprehensive list. In the construction of Shanghai Smart Library, we, as the pioneer, need to draw experiences and solidify them in our white paper. What are the minimum, median, and highest requirements? We definitely need this kind of standards. This is my basic description and explanation of standards. We need an operating system. Once we have the standards, we need a platform and a large number of apps to support complex applications. Shanghai Library uses more than 100 applications, while Tsinghua and Jiangsu University libraries use 200 more apps. Some of the apps need to be adapted to the new internet architecture. So we use a new platform that can migrate across different clouds, that can accommodate different clouds. But there are not many IT companies providing software for libraries. And every year, their total revenue is about hundreds of millions of euros. It's a small market. Such a small market, it is unlikely that a big company would provide a solution for it. So it's very important for a library to adopt an open ecosystem. We establish an alliance, bigger libraries helping smaller libraries. We want companies in the same sector to formulate a healthy ecosystem so they don't compete with each other viciously. We would like to follow this platform to integrate all libraries. We would like to have one omnipotent platform to integrate all apps about libraries. Now our smart library has taken shape. The orange ones are open source platforms. If you have a team, you can just install that software. Smaller libraries doesn't need to spend a cent on IT. Then your money can be used to invite a third-party company or your team to maintain that software. You don't need a product. The product's free of charge, but your budget will be used to pay for the maintenance of the software. So we have shifted from buying software to buying service. In terms of smartness, all these smart apps were absent in our old solutions. So we need to develop smart apps. But the market is very small. We need to make sure a company that develops such a module can sell the same module to other companies. Only in this way, an ecosystem will be formed. Why this platform is superior? Because if suppose plug-in, it offers a large number of smart functions. We propose that we need to build a AI middle platform and data middle platform or middleware that can provide support to multiple computing requirements. This is a new structure and it couldn't be fulfilled by an old architecture. Only in this way can we develop a healthy ecosystem. And it's much easier for libraries to update our software using such a platform and architecture. Of course, the existing integrative platform is not enough. We need to have this architecture. So some part of the modules can be replaced using the minimum costs. Our information plan encompasses 6 different modules. First, our service module. We really look forward to introduce the module. We are discussing with the Dongguan deputy director that now they have a smart library project, which is wonderful. If they can use an open source mindset to guide the whole process, it will be wonderful. In the open ecosystem, the commercial companies that provide service to us will abide by certain service standards, and they can engage in healthy competition.
So library has a say, and the third party can develop many applications. For example, the application of information is based on these structure. Well, the literature management, well, this might be a misnomer. We try to develop our information product, and this is digital humanities and the smart navigation and data middle platform. We provide a lot of services, and then the uniform service platform. And these are the 6 modules. In summary, I think that the digital library is the necessity, and then we have the scenario standardization service, which is closely in line with what Rao Chen has said. And further, we think that an open source portfolio is an ideal platform, and smart library is not only a platform but an ecosystem. In the future, the Shanghai Library might be like that. An amicable librarian will guide you with either physical or virtual robot, and going through different service points. And the librarian might know better than you what you need. And the acquisition and processing and extended service will be provided. And there will be exhibition, lecture, or even MOOC. And all these are the low cost and the high added value. You know, an open platform supports innovation. Maybe the readers have an idea and then can actually develop something based on these platforms. And all libraries of Shanghai works like a clonage of certain library. Any valuable service can be copied and promoted. In closing, I'd like to quote from Chen Cao as saying that it is not enough to have a smart library development. More importantly, it is to make the whole society more smarter and more inclusive. So all these efforts is not to make us cool, but to empower our readers. Oh, that's it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Liu Wei. Liu Wei's presentation focused on the facts and also the development trend, and they showed us that the development of a library has already passed midway. At the same time, he showed us the demand-driven, technology-based, and the portfolio examples. His presentation convinced us that the future library is smart. Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, the 4 keynote speeches have done a comprehensive analysis. So we know that what should we stick to, what should we disrupt. And here and now, I'd like to suggest that please put our hands together for the speakers and the audience. Without you, there won't be such a wonderful forum. And then welcome. Please join us in the afternoon. We will meet here again in the afternoon. Thank you.
好，各位嘉宾，今天上午的主。
The keynote speeches of this morning are completed. Lunch will be served at the staff canteen. Please follow our staff to go to lunch. In the afternoon, the keynote speeches will continue at 1:30 in the afternoon.